Very good afternoon, all. His Excellency John Khali, distinguished speakers and delegates. I'm really excited to be here to talk about all the buzz that is going on green hydrogen, and basically take you through some basics on what is green hydrogen, and then look at those specific opportunities where the decarbonization through this journey of green hydrogen lies. And I'll be discussing on the challenges and kind of asks that are required to make this journey possible. I'm really sorry if I go full nerd sometimes while discussing green hydrogen, so apologies in advance for that. So, just to give you a brief introduction, I represent International Finance Corporation. It's a World Bank member group, and IFC specifically focuses on providing solutions for private sector development in countries. So apart from the regular financing instruments that we have, like, for example, equity debt that we provide for projects, we have a specialized team called the upstream team that really helps in these early stage project level interventions. And this is where we are promoting and anchoring these design and implementation platforms for new tech like green hydrogen. Apart from that, we do have advisory services where we help in creating new markets and unlock investment opportunities. So what is green hydrogen? Okay, welcome to the chemistry class. So to meet the climate goals, a lot of new tech needs to be developed and new breakthroughs have to be made. The IEA estimates that by 2050, most of the hydrogen that is currently used will be produced through clean technologies. The current global production of the hydrogen is around 80 to 90, 200 million tons, out of which 99.6% is produced through fossil fuels, which is alarming. So that's why we call it hard to abate sectors. And out of this 99.6% of fossil fuel generated hydrogen, around 85% is used by fertilizers through ammonia and the refineries to remove sulfur from their processes. Hydrogen is a very versatile molecule. This is where it acts as a carrier, it acts as a feedstock, and it can also be used for storage. A lot is going on green hydrogen. There are a lot of news and headlines that you might have been hearing to. Like, for example, it's a Swiss Army knife. It's the missing link of energy transition. It's the hottest option for decarbonization. So what exactly is green hydrogen? Normally, the hydrogen is produced through steam methane reforming process. There are various spectrums of hydrogen that we have been talking about. There is a pink hydrogen, which is produced from nuclear energy. We are talking about yellow hydrogen, defined as being produced from grid electricity. And then we have the green hydrogen, which is exclusively produced from renewable energy. Now, what exactly happens is that the renewable energy is generated. It is supplied to electrolyzer. Electrolyzer is it's 5-6 decade old technology, not at scale, but the technology exists where you have a cathode and an anode. The electricity passes through water, and it breaks the water molecule into H2 and oxygen. And that's where you capture hydrogen, and you call it green hydrogen. What we can further do is we can use the Haber process and add nitrogen, and this is where it turns into green ammonia. So that's where it can replace the ammonia being used in the fertilizer industry and decarbonize the fertilizer industry. So apart from that, there are various uses. For example, the feedstock that I already explained. For heat, it can be used in steel, cement, paper, aluminum industries, maybe a few years down the line, and for fuel in transportation. So this, the green hydrogen, apart from having various applications across sector, has significant potential to abate these global emissions. Just to give you a number, oh, sorry. So the hydrogen that is being currently produced, it emits around 8 kgs 8 kgs of CO2 per kg of hydrogen production. So you multiply by the 90 million tons, and that's the carbon emission that is currently going on. So this is where the renewable energy, which is very now cost competitive, can come in and produce green hydrogen in a possibly competitive manner over a period of next 3 to 4 years. That's the projections that most of the agencies are making. Now, there are multiple factors that are driving the green hydrogen development at scale. One is the climate change. This is where the industries have gone into net zero emission targets, and they are looking to decarbonize their operations. The other is the displacement of these polluting fuels and energy imports, and thus improving the energy security. This is something that this is being looked by a lot of countries. For example, India, which has a national green hydrogen mission and wants to be a kind of green hydrogen exporter hub country to meet requirements from Europe and Japan and Korea. The other is on the carbon pricing. This is where the European carbon mechanism comes into the picture, which gives some additional incentives for green hydrogen production. The enablers are the declining cost of renewable energy. So countries which are rich in RE resources, for example, Australia, India, Egypt, Morocco, Chile, they're all looking at setting up these large-scale renewable energy projects, which will feed into the electrolyzer and produce green hydrogen or green ammonia. And the demand that's coming from the European Union, Korea, Japan, which are being looked at import markets. The other is on the technological progress that has been happening on electrolyzers. There are planned project pipelines. And that is where the estimate is that it may reach up to 2.5 gigawatt capacity by end of this year, which was around 0.3 gigawatt a year back. The innovative solutions that are coming in on renewable energy, that is moving from plain vanilla solar, plain vanilla wind, to a kind of a hybrid model where the complementary nature of solar and wind is being used to maximize the offtake from the grid and also to limit the curtailment of this exclusive renewable energy sources or standalone energy sources by integrating storage products like hydro or batteries are making it much more viable in terms of energy cost competitiveness. The grid is also supporting, grids are also becoming intelligent, smart, and thus providing the flexibility and the ancillary services to support renewable energy integration. On the green hydrogen developments, there have been a lot of commitments. Over 40 countries have either a hydrogen strategy or a roadmap, or the mission documents are under development. And notables are like Colombia, Chile, Africa, India, Turkey. These have their strategy papers or the roadmaps already published. The other important thing that is driving is the public-private partnership. We are seeing maybe every week a new development or a new partnership being done to ensure that the green hydrogen costs are coming down and that scale of investments are being pumped into the market. So all that good, that this is going to decarbonize these hard-to-abate sectors and possibly come out as a fuel for transportation, can also be used as energy for storage. But there are challenges attached to it. And these are on the tech itself. So although the renewable part is being taken care of with the large-scale development, the electrolyzers are kind of not at that scale as of now. And there is a lot of research and development work being done. There are a lot of multiple technologies of electrolyzers. For example, the alkaline is there. People are talking about PEM, and then solid oxide is also coming into the picture. So this is where the challenge on the cost front of the electrolyzer lie. The other thing that is attached to the electrolyzer is that in order to be say again economical, it needs to have kind of a 60 to 70% PLF, and thus the right combination of renewable energy sources to power this electrolyzer also adds to this lowering of the cost. The cost competitiveness, the green hydrogen costs are around 2 to 3 times more than the gray hydrogen. So gray hydrogen is around 1.5 to $2 per kg. And we are looking at green hydrogen as of now from $3, $5, $8 per kg. So that's where the cost of renewable energy needs to come down. The electrolyzer scale needs to be developed so that the cost of electrolyzer comes down. And then the optimized energy supply to these electrolyzers also is very important to make sure that the green hydrogen or the green ammonia produced is competitive in the market. Yes, so the carbon pricing is another important aspect where this kind of additional incentive will help in reducing or bringing that cost down for the green hydrogen. On the market, use of hydrogen for chemicals is well known, but the challenges again lie, as I mentioned, on the storage part, on the use of green hydrogen or green ammonia as a feedstock for other chemical industries. The definition of export and import schemes and standards are also very important. Like, for example, EU had come out with a draft standard that a grid has to be 90% green, just to be said that the production from that particular facility is green. So a lot of people objected that these are kind of unrealistic as of now to be set in standard. But again, these standards and certifications needs to be kind of developed and ensured that the hydrogen that we are producing from renewable energy sources meets those certifications for the countries of the export that we are looking at. The important aspect to this whole game is also the water. Kg of hydrogen production requires something around 9 to 15 liters of water consumption per kg of hydrogen generation. And thus, this is something that if a desalination plant has to be put in, that adds to the cost. So the availability of fresh water becomes critical in this journey. Again, there is a huge potential that the renewable energy number would be required to meet the demand by 2030. And this demand, again, is coming from countries in EU, where they have their mandates to use a certain percentage of green hydrogen in their processes. Countries like Korea and Japan are talking about using green ammonia and using this into, say, co-mingling and co-firing in their thermal power plants. So this is something that is driving the demand in the Asia market. Countries like India are expected to come out with obligations, a mandatory certain percentage of usage of green hydrogen for their refineries, for their fertilizer industry, and for the city gas distribution. The current manufacturing capacity for electrolyzer production is around 25 megawatt, and thus this is where the large scale production capacities for electrolyzers also need to be developed to ensure that although the renewable energy is there, the electrolyzer part also fits into the schemes. The regulation is the most important aspect, as for any other sector market, if you consider the policies and the regulation at the country level are going to be really, really important. And this is where the governments have to be very, very kind of vigilant on what's happening in the international market, where these at least the knowledge on the green hydrogen has reached some scale, and that's where the roadmaps, those strategy documents, and the specific standards and certification needs to be developed for the country to maybe move ahead in the green hydrogen market. So the ecosystem is a complex one, and translating these bold ambitions to concrete actions would require a mammoth effort. The key challenges, as I mentioned, are on the cost differential between the green and the gray, the high capex requirement, and need for the green hydrogen certification to move this market ahead. What we suggest is that just as a beginning, the enabling environment on the policy goals, having some kind of R&D, some incentives, some penalties for the off-taker would lead to the market creation. And this is where you'll hear a lot of about green hydrogen hubs, valleys, clusters being developed across the whole world. Just to add, where we are supporting as a World Bank group, the World Bank gives a lot of inputs to the green hydrogen adoption. They do a lot of kind of mapping of demand and supply centers, and share those studies with the government, and thus bridging the gap through innovative financial mechanism. At IFC, what we have been doing is we have been studying this market since last couple of years. We have done a lot of mapping of the countries where it makes sense, could make sense, and where the renewable potentials are high, mapping of those individual sectors, where at what current cost the green hydrogen, or the hydrogen is being generated, or the ammonia is being produced, and what could be the cost if we are going through the renewable route. The other thing what IFC is doing is that in order to reach this competitiveness for green hydrogen, this is the space where, by leveraging our wealth of knowledge and the strong expertise and relationships that we have in manufacturing, renewable energy, industrial, and transportation sector, is where we feel that we can really help the private companies, the government, and the industries to really close the loop on the green hydrogen development. And we have a lot of clients which are already engaged in this space, and they want to decarbonize their portfolio. So the IFC provides these early stage project development support for developing these various business models, and supporting with the green certificates of origin for the hydrogen. Just to finish off, so there is this, I don't know whether I should be discussing this now, but there is another key aspect is on the offtake. The offtake, for example, green hydrogen, is possibly we are looking at, say, immediate industries like refineries and fertilizers. But if we talk about the ammonia, and where the fertilizer thing comes into the picture, is that ammonia is a traded commodity. So looking at how the bankability of such projects would be an interesting space to discuss forward. So I'll thank you, everyone, and it's really great being here. Thank you so much.